taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
We got one more topic for tonight before we take it home, and that was another poll that we did about one Shane Mosley. Shout out to Lefty, because Lefty was put up there was a Twitter post showing Shane Mosley's win over Margarito, and he was like, this was the best win. And then all of a sudden, because he mentioned it with Floyd, how Floyd fought Mosley after the Margarito fight, and everybody just came in and just came out the woodworks, because Floyd does that to people, just like Spence and Crawford does that to people. Floyd still has that effect on people, where people just come out the buzzard and the woodworks and just like, well, he didn't do this, yada yada. Like, bro, like, come on, like, we're not gonna rehash 10-year-old topics. But Ring Gang, we respect Floyd, so we wasn't gonna go disrespect Floyd or nothing like that. But we had a little disagreement about Mosley and Margarito being his best win, and Lefty believes that's his best win, and I respect Lefty. He's entitled to his opinion. We all respect him. He's entitled to opinion, but a little bit of a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
And so we put it up. We asked the people, what was the bigger Shane Mosley victory? Was it his split decision victory of Oscar De La Hoya in the first fight, or his TKO of Antonio Margarito? And we got 38 votes so far, so continue to vote. And so far, 71% said the De La Hoya victory was bigger, as opposed to the 29%. That's an interesting one. I thought more people would say that Margarito was the bigger win, just because of all the circumstances and all of that. If you think it's
younger,
yeah, but if you think it's Margarito, that's fine, because it was a great win. When you consider the circumstances of everybody thought Shane was washed and that Margarito was just gonna run through him, because he was having that, after he beat up Cotto and the fuck him, yada yada. Sorry, I still get a sore spot with Margarito, because I do not like that motherfucker.
Yeah, that motherfucker made. I won brag off that, because I got the win and the victory to end the round. So
we're talking about Margachito.
Yes, Margachito. Yes. So, like, a lot of people still look at that as Mosley's biggest win, just because of the whole circumstances. Although De La Hoya was a much better fighter than Margarito. So him beating Oscar, in my eyes, is bigger than him beating Margarito, just because of the caliber of fighters they are.
That's why I agree as well, because he was a better caliber fighter. And we were talking about it earlier before we came on live, that he did beat him twice, but then you were saying the second fight was kind of like questionable. But
second fight, he got a gift. De La Hoya beat that nigga that second fight. I don't care what the fuck nobody say. That power boxing bullshit wasn't working that second fight.
Yeah,
but the first fight, that was a great fight, and he beat De La Hoya, outworked him, gave us a great rumble. Mm-hmm. And it was memorable, man. Like, that was a great night.
Because remember, Mosley went up 2 divisions, because he was at lightweight. Didn't he go up 2 divisions for that? Yeah, exactly. So
he skipped 140 completely. I don't even think he was at 140. He just skipped it completely.
Yeah, that was some like Garcia shit, but actually he boxed well. Garcia against Spence, basically.
Oh, so it's like people forget the significance. Like, he jumped from 135 to 147. Took on an Oscar De La Hoya that
says a lot. I'm sorry. That's come on.
Yeah, and it's like, only Tito beat Oscar at that time, and it was a drawish.
It was unclear,
questionable, unclear. But as a Tito fan.
Yeah, me too. Fuck Oscar though. I'm not mad he got jobbed in the Tito fight. He wanted to spend the last 4 rounds running with his bitch ass.
Yeah, when you do that shit, you can't cry about not getting a decision if you literally run for at least 3 rounds.
In the championship rounds, you can't be on your bike in the championship rounds.
Yeah. So you lose the right to complain. But yeah, Shane Mosley, De La Hoya definitely the better victory. The Margarito just feel like niggas just started watching boxing 5 years ago, and it's like, oh yeah, it was crazy. Like big win. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, I was like doing tiger uppercuts off the couch and shit. You know, but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I definitely did think that, you know, Margarito's got back because I mean, after the Cotto fight, I mean, Margarito was on top of the welterweight world at that point because, you know, like he was that dude, like, you know, he took Cotto 0 and everything like that. But then it's just like, I mean, it was like, damn, man, he did all that to Cotto. He might do, and Mosley hadn't been looking too good lately because it was just like, oh,
the Mayorga fight, that's when he was looking trash.
Yeah, when he was at 154. Yeah.
Yeah. But see, I also remember too, and this is the irony of this, because Lefty was like sunning Doug Fisher left and right, but I remember back then I was really heavily following his mailbag and his reports and shit, and Margarito wasn't looking good in camp, and they was having reports that Margarito was really living, you know, high on the hog, living it up, like
because
he was getting his Andy Ruiz on a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, because all those years he was a boogeyman in the division. That's the reason why, and then people were avoiding him, including Oscar. Oscar avoided Margarito. We gotta make sure we gotta put that out there. He sure as hell avoided him. You know,
yeah, because Oscar ducked him because he pretty much said, "I'm gonna fight the winner of Cotto versus Margarito." And then when the dude that he didn't want to win won.
Yeah, so he went after Pacquiao and got his career ended.
Yeah, he did an about face on like, all right, man, shit, I don't want that work. We get this little guy over there, and the little guy beat his ass. So Oscar caught the vapors off that shit.
Although it's funny because we say that Margarito was looked at as the boogeyman of 147, even though he lost to the real boogeyman of 147. You know, nobody wants to talk about that. You know,
well, that's one of my favorite fights.
Yeah. Shit. Nigga, we actually talked about that last night.
No, but other people, they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk about that. The real boogeyman of 147.
I mean, there was two.
The Punisher,
like, of course, yes.
Yeah.
This nigga said Punisher, like he had his hand raised and shit. Like, the Punisher, like yes, pilot, yes. You get extra recess for that one too. Like, yeah.
Well, Margarito, because all those years he was avoiding. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna rehash the whole Floyd Margarito argument, but then but Margarito, I mean, was legitimately a terror because Margarito was beating a lot of these cats up. I mean, he took some zeros, Kermit Cintron zero, like, dude. I mean, with the exception of probably Daniel Santos, he was the only person that legitimately beat Margarito until Punisher
during that run, yeah,
in that whole run. You know what I'm saying? So Margarito was a problem, a big problem. But but when he finally got his break, because I remember he was losing he had to lose 40, 50 pounds or some shit like that. So
and that's why the whole dude did the whole shit with the raps. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He and I remember Fisher reporting all that shit, and that's why I was always of the nature that Margarito didn't do it his whole career. People try to just make it seem like Margarito did his whole career. I still don't believe that. I just feel like the Shane Mosley shit was like the perfect situation to do that shit in.
Right, because else, Punisher, because I mean, he let it plenty on Punisher, but Punisher wasn't busted up like that.
Yeah. It just Cotto fought the wrong fight the first fight.
Yeah,
and he busted up easily.
And he fought the wrong fight the second fight too, but the fact that Margarito's eye was so fucked, that
and it was in New York,
Yeah.
see, this is the thing. I'm always gonna just be objective about that fight because when I was at the boxing gym at that time, I was the only nigga picking Margarito because I couldn't stand Cotto, man. He got the worst fucking fans back then.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he did.
And so it's when Margarito won, it's I was talking cash shit to everyone. Every motherfucker in that gym, the coach, all those niggas, from goddamn featherweight to heavyweight. and so yeah, I'm always fucking be like, he won that shit. Cotto, that shit was just Corrales Freitas all over again. That's all that shit was.
Yes, sir. Yeah, like I say, like, and Dude won me money, so it was just like, you know what, I got a 4-digit payday off that shit. I was like, yeah, Margarito, salute you for making me win that money. Like, I mean, it's bad that sorry that you got your eye destroyed by Pacquiao, but that's the vapors. So, I mean, you gotta sometimes, shit happens.
I mean, that's that karma, man. The boxing guys gotta do that shit.
Yeah.
But the Margarito, like I said, it was a great win. And then, like I said, Mosley, I mean, it was the last time that Mosley looked vintage. Like, because I mean, Mosley was a killer that night. Because Mosley, when he heard that shit, yeah, everything that Mosley was doing was like full force, like hooks, everything. Like, Margarito was just getting. And funny thing, because Margarito, still has has a really great chin. Even that's his best attribute, but he wasn't taking them shots. So I was like, oh my god, damn, Mosley's actually really hurting this dude. And
Mosley can't tee off on you. If Shane Mosley gets to tee off on you repeatedly. It's a long night.
Yeah, and the funny thing, because he had this sheep, because usually Margarito was like a devil back then. Bro would taunt you. He let all types of wild shit on you, and like it talk shit in the interview.
How long do you think he used to have like loaded cups and shit like that? I mean, we're talking about karma. That's why his eye.
I think I think it's I think the Mosley fight was.
It's the Mosley fight, though. The one fight where
you think that's the only time he got caught, or that's the only time he's ever done it?
The only time he's ever done it, only time he's got caught.
And that's what you think?
But a lot of people believe that.
I'm not gonna lie, the Cotto thing was a little suspect. Not even because of the beating he put on Cotto, but it was the HBO face-off that they did, and like he couldn't. Like Cotto was challenging him, and he couldn't answer like any of the questions, or he would try to deflect.
The second one, yep.
Yeah, the second one. Like they showed the picture up in the middle of it, like in the middle of his glove, like the like I don't know if it was the plaster.
A lot of people believe that his glove.
He was trolling him because he knew he hit a sore spot. So
no, but since we're
he was on his villain
this,
shit.
I think he fought him.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say one of my favorite, not movies but documentaries, is the documentary that HBO did on Billy Collins.
Yeah.
And Assault in the Ring.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've watched that, but for like the boxing fans in the chat, like that's an awesome documentary to watch about a fighter whose gloves were loaded with plaster. The gloves were the cushion was taken out, and he beat the man's eyes were like he couldn't.
Ruined his life.
He turned blind.
And he committed suicide and everything off of it. It's crazy. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I really respect Margarito, so it's like.
But another thing too, because Margarito set a combat record against Joshua Clottey. Like he hit him with everything in the fucking book, and Clottey took all that shit. Like
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's like there's no like you. I mean, I'm not saying boxing commission state to state are like the best. Like we get it. It's like almost like bullshit retail management. Like so niggas could do shit, but I just don't think a dude like his trainer, they're just not intelligent enough to finesse a whole career worth of that shit when Margarito's basically been in, had that type of style the whole time, and he's beating guys up. Cotto overmoved in that fight. Like he played the villain shit in the second fight, and everyone loved it. Everybody loved that face off. That's like one of the classic ones. So
yeah, it's just a matter of I get it. Like once it happens once, there's always gonna be like, well, how long have you been people? There's always gonna be questions, and I also know this because the whole Billy Conn thing, that was a good one, Nika. The Billy Conn documentary, very good.
I love it. That's my favorite. I've watched it so many times.
Another example of an assault in the ring, a guy that basically got away with assault in the ring, was Luis Resto. You know the whole story of Luis Resto and his stuff.
No, that's the same.
Yeah. That's the guy who actually inflicted the injury on Billy Conn.
I think Pat Lewis was the trainer, right?
So with the story of Luis Resto, but also because of at the gym that I would go to in the Bronx, Luis Resto used to come by there.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times like people would look at him funny. Like we would always like talk about it and ask because we was always suspicious. Like motherfuckers would be wondering like, well, how much longer was that?
He admitted it on the documentary. And and in the documentary they showed that he was still training in the Bronx when I grew up, but he's not allowed. He's not allowed to be, you know, a trainer or anything in the corner during the fights, just like Panama Lewis was. But then he passed away. So,
Yeah,
but he admitted it on the documentary that he knew that the gloves were loaded. They dipped in his hand in plaster and they took the stuff out.
Yep. And he used to come like the boxing gym that I would go to, Nika, was in Morris Park.
Morris Park, yeah, it was Morris Park.
So I would go there, and he would be there sometime.
I think he was living in.
He was living
there.
He was living there, basically. Yeah. So it's like a lot of people had a lot of questions and a lot of then it leads to open to more speculation. So like anytime you hear something happens once, same with Margarito, people are just gonna naturally think, well, how much more is this going on? And it's like it leads to whole much more speculation. And Margarito's attitude about it, like the way he kind of deflected and played the villain, then furthers people's idea that he probably did this more than once because he's just being arrogant about it.
I just think it's because he's an asshole. Like that's more than it's like this dude and I remember and I would go back to what Fisher was writing at the time. Like he was pretty much saying that the dude's trainer is like a low-key an imbecile in a way. Like the way he was like there's no way this guy could have pulled this shit off his whole fucking career or for such big ass fights like Cotto and Clottey and Paul Williams and all these other motherfuckers. So
go ahead.
I'm just saying, is it possible he did it for the Cotto fight? It is. It's possible he did it for those other fights. It is. It's probably, but I look at it too. When I see Margarito in those fights, when I look at his body, he was in shape for those fights.
He
wasn't really in shape for the Shane Mosley fight. You could see it. You could see he wasn't as ripped. He didn't have that extra little pickup step when he pressures you. Like I could tell. So I just genuinely feel like these niggas was on some panic mode. Like, look, man. Shane Mosley's washed, and he's been looking like shit, but he still knocked the fuck out of damn Mayorga.
Right. But that was not like the first time that Panama Lewis was accused of cheating when he was training.
The Black Bottle.
Yeah, when they like the bottle,
Aaron the Hawk Pryor.
Aaron Pryor.
And it was like something like some asthma
the mix
medication to help open up the lungs.
He said, "Give me the drink I mix.
Give me the bottle, the one I mixed, the one I mixed." So,
yeah, he was extra specific. So I mean, but this is the thing. It's like I hear Panama Lewis speak, and it's like I hear a nigga who seemed like he could hustle the windshields off a car in a windstorm. And I hear Margarito's trainer speak, and yeah, so so I mean, it's like I don't know, like Panama Lewis, I don't put it past him, like I mean, this is the shit we know.
Yeah.
Like there's probably some shit that we don't know about that, some kid in the Bronx is suffering from now type shit. So but
because he never admitted it on even on the documentary, but Luis Resto did. But Panama Lewis, he took that shit to the grave. He was
and then it's like you don't know if these shiesty niggas be having like hitters or people that they could be on some like, look, don't speak on it, this, that, I could do this. Like if Margarito's that hated, like somebody else would have came out on some like, yeah, that was him. Yeah. He tried to do that in the Daniel Santos fight, but nah, we just was going to just outbox him instead type shit. Like somebody else got to be out there to just. I mean, look, you had Life Jennings talk about he was singing a fucking Dahmer.
Yeah, to a Dahmer. I'm like, why would he even say that? That was so stupid. Like, take that shit to the grave. Take it to the grave.
So it's like either somebody is like respect Margarito and his trainer so much that they just gonna take it to the grave, or they just gonna just say fuck it, I'm gonna add fuel to the fire. It's a dog pile up anyway. Because ain't too many niggas coming out speaking for Margarito and being objective anyway.
But you know, like for the Lewis Russell and the Panama thing, like I feel nobody else spoke out about it. It was Panama's took it to the grave, but I feel like it was like killing him killing him slowly, Russell. So for him, he just had to say something to get that shit off his chest because he knew what it did. You know, the guy had killed himself. He like drove off. Billy Collins I guess was drunk one night and then drove off the side of the road. He killed himself. So I think it was just killing him little by little, and he felt like compelled to say something. But other than him admitting it himself, nobody else spoke about it or confirmed it. So. Yeah,
I mean, but the demons ain't gonna be the same if you the one that's doing the damn beating.
Yeah.
So Panama Lewis, the guy.
But Panama Lewis
conscious.
He didn't give a fuck. He just didn't give a fuck.
But see, it's probably different if they get to fight.
He was just gonna get an extra ring with that money he was getting by training people on the side, because on the documentary they showed him like still training like Zabzuda, but he wasn't allowed in the arena, so he was across the street at the bar watching. You know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like you can't trade. You can't be allowed to be near someone. You got to be from afar, watching them from afar. Like
that's during the fight. Like it's like you basically teacher mode for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're willing to do all that grimy shit, then it is what it is.
He didn't
gotta accept the consequences.
He didn't give
Yeah, I mean, and that nigga, he loved his ring. So I mean, that
he didn't give a fuck. He bought an extra chain, every time he.
You have more rings than fucking RZA.
Yeah.
Them damn rings.
Also, LB, I wanted to go back to something because it was funny because you mentioned the Ring magazine and the whole thing with Margarito and Mosley on Twitter ended up with a back and forth between Lefty and Dougie Fisher, and I'm done with Dougie. He's been sus for a while for me. But it's funny because now that I think about it, I read some Ring magazines back in the day, like I don't want to say avidly, but like pretty frequently. And it's funny because I felt like that was the first instance of where I felt like there was some type of outward bias, because it felt like at times it felt like the Ring was really championing Margarito a little too hard, where it was like they were kind of really, really biased. And it's just funny because I think now I'm looking at how biased boxing media is and the Ring magazine is. I feel like that was the first time of me noticing something wasn't right. I get a lot of people liked Margarito, but the way that they were trying to push him and champion him seemed like there was an agenda at hand. It seemed like Dougie Fisher was doing that.
I mean, he was but you got to remember at the time too, he was champion Valero too. And we see how he turned out. Sometimes dudes just champion the wrong motherfucker.
Right.
And it's like maybe they unlucky like that, because I look at it. I mean, he also championed Chocolatito, and it seemed like he kind of still champions him. He championed Golovkin, but I feel like they went now. The Golovkin is when they niggas really jumped the shark. Because remember, after the second Canelo fight, even though most people still had it a draw or Golovkin winning, niggas was on some questioning Golovkin's career, Hall of Fame, this, that. You saw the whole shit. Then you just knew it was on some commercial shit. Remember with Margarito, he was a fan of Margarito, and basically all the hardcore fans and himself wanted Margarito to get in a big fucking fight.
Right. Yeah.
And welterweight's the marquee division, so yeah, there probably was a little extra bump. I mean, shit. We wanted it.
I mean, he low key, Dougie low key started he was one of the first ones I remember that started I want almost like a damn smear campaign against Floyd avoiding Margarito. Bro was going a little too hard with that, and I didn't agree with all that.
But I mean, it was the fight a lot of people wanted to see though. He was going for it. I don't think it was no smear shit.
Oh well, Floyd, like he almost like insinuated that Floyd was scared of Margarito and all of this stuff. Like I'm like, bro, you're doing too much. Like, and I never.
Think that sometimes he does a little bit of this for shock value.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because it's like I think sometimes niggas take that shit to heart. Like it's like sensationalism in the writing. Just like I look at that shit play out. Like these niggas go so over the top that on one hand these niggas look like super Floyd stans, then on the other hand these niggas look like some super Floyd haters, and I'm just looking at it like, damn, you know, it's a little bit of both. Like niggas ain't God, he ain't perfect. Like
it's like they can't be like an in between.
Yeah, I was watching like there was people who wanted to see Margarito Floyd. There were people who felt like Floyd was ducking him a little bit. He was like Margarito was avoided, like, and people, and I feel like a lot of people, they like the whole hand wrap shit now for his whole career, so they could say, well, see, that's why Floyd didn't have to fight him because of that. And it's like, come on, B, chill, like, come on.
Well, I mean, he's, you know, if you don't count the plaster stuff, he's an arguable Hall of Famer, but he doesn't even get mentioned in that ballot because of that.
Oh yeah. Margarito,
I mean, dude, Pacquiao, Shane Mosley happened. Like those two, it's like, remember, he was still in his prime and he took 2 bad losses.
I'm sorry, but if you put in plaster on your hand, like I'm sorry.
And then you got to remember the Mosley circumstances.
That's crazy. He should not be in the Hall of Fame, so I don't care that.
Yeah, he kind of fucked up his, you know. And remember, he lost to Paul Williams too.
Boxers die in the ring, so when you doing shit like that, like I don't feel bad for you. You might get it.
I think a lot of people feel a lot of people feel that the Cotto fight he was using the plaster just because it happened shortly.
At the end of the day, Margarito lost most of his biggest fights. He just has the Cotto and the Claudio victories. He lost to Shane Mosley. He lost to Santos. He lost to Paul Williams.
He has Sergio Martinez.
He has Sergio Martinez 0 though.
He has that, but that's still not Hall of Fame enough.
Yeah, no, not for sure.
And then you got to remember the whole, and like Nika said, you got to.
Even though I was a contender fan, you know, I still don't. It's not just because you beat him does not make you Hall of Famer. Sorry.
The Mosley shit just. You know, even if he didn't fight Mosley with the raps and fight nobody, it just him being accused of that and then losing terribly and then losing the Pacquiao after that is just nah. And those were his 2 biggest fights. The Cotto, Pacquiao, and Mosley, his 3 biggest fights, and he only got 1 of those. Right. So Hall of Fame, nah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Nope.
And I say that as someone who's speaking objectively about Margarito, and hell nah. Well, yeah, because Kermit Cintron's going to the Hall of Fame. Like, nah. Yeah. And shout out to Kermit Cintron. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's one of Margarito's best wins, and people and Cintron is pretty much forgotten. Like.
And for good reason. Too.
Yeah, and for good reason. That flopper.
Yeah.
but that shout out to that fight he had with David Estrada. That's a great fight. If you need a good fight to watch on a weekend where there's no boxing, that was a good fight.
It might be a future Forgotten Fate article too. Just, you know.
He had that Matisse fight too.
Oh yeah, the older Matisse.
Yeah, the brother
Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot.
Lucas?
Yeah, no, wrong Matisse. I'd be forgetting that Lucas had a brother and a sister that didn't do much. Wasn't as accomplished as he was.
That's also facts.
No, you know.
I mean, if you call getting your shit pushed back by Danny Garcia accomplishment, then you know.
No. I'm gonna be quiet because, you know, it's getting late and I don't want to go off on my tangent about that.
Yeah, we'll save that for another day, Pat. Let's not do that now. Like, please
don't get me started. No damn Danny Garcia.
Yeah, you could do that a day when you're the host, not today. I'm not gonna allow you to slander Danny Garcia unprovoked tonight. So we'll save that for another day. All right, but I think that about wraps it up for tonight. That was very productive and very interesting cast. So I'm gonna wrap it up for some final thoughts. LB, what are your final thoughts?
Oh man, it was just a great cast, good episode, good little feature in the algorithm, little boost. We had tech support on deck. We had the Femme Fatale on lock, so we got the spin-off art contest.
Yes, we got to push that. Yeah.
And we serious. Don't
I'm gonna help y'all push that. I'm serious about you pushing that because I know that you're gonna beat him. So I need
we gonna put niggas
in my life.
faces on Twitter milk boxes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he would be all about that. Trust me, because he thinks he's like the coldest one. So I know that he would so be down to like compete against you. So that would be a big thing.
I had to just set up a camera and put my hand on there like, okay. Let's go. So World is an op. This Art Man guy is the op. So artwork gonna be streaming live. And let's make this shit happen. I guess we're gonna get some rules set up, something, and get the particulars settled. My people are getting in touch with your people, and
we'll see if he accepts it. He might duck you.
But yeah, he might because he knows that he can't draw from scratch.
He might be like, well, who is this guy?
He's so blinded by the fact that he thinks he's cold. I think he will accept it, and he likes the attention. So if that's gonna bring a lot of, trust me, boxing Twitter will be all over that. They would be so all over that.
Because I know my artwork be floating around Twitter, but I hardly ever see his artwork float
so you guys
around.
have to stream it on here. You guys, that would be a big hit. Tell you. People want to see him lose at anything. They don't care.
Well, we'll try to make that happen.
With his head.
So, Pat, final thoughts.
Oh man, no, yeah, I definitely enjoyed this cast, man. Nika definitely brought a whole new energy to this.
No, I have fun.
Definitely gotta have you back on again. Like I said, because you meshed in perfectly. But obviously, just follow us everywhere. I know in the comments someone mentioned that we're on Apple Podcasts, and we are. Like I said, I make sure that we try. Our podcasts are on every different type of platform, but especially of course our website and our YouTube. So yeah, definitely YouTube. Listen, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, and then we can all be friends because we do the shit for y'all, and we definitely got some more stuff coming down the pipe for real. So. Yeah, so that's my final thought.
That's what's up. Rome, final thoughts?
Yo, what's good? You already know what it is. Rome Top 5. Shout out to our guests for today. Bringing the good energy to the pod. Kept Shutter off his fuck shit. He wasn't talking all that shit all pod, so that's what's up. But yeah, you already know what it is. Chicago's on. We in this beat.
That's what's up. Pilot, final thoughts.
Good episode, good polls, good discussion. Shouts out to Nika for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And you know where to check us out at ringgangradio.com and every platform imaginable. And we appreciate it, man. That's all I got.
What's up? And Nika, final thoughts.
I want to thank you guys for having me on. I had a really good time. I would love to come back whenever you guys would love to have me. You can follow me on YouTube at Knockouts with Nika, and you can catch me tomorrow on Women Crushing It Wednesdays in the Ring with Christine's YouTube channel.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're big fans of that as well. Definitely.
Salute
to Christine. Salute to Nika. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for having me. I had a good time.
No doubt. I mean, I ain't got much more to say. You know what I'm saying? Just follow us on every platform. Ring Gang Radio. Ringgangradio.com. We got some more content coming. You know what I'm saying? And of course, follow Nika on YouTube. Knockouts with Nika. Watch her tomorrow. Women Crushing It Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? She and Christine definitely be crushing it, knocking it out the park.
And then one other thing too that we're gonna do our football cast tomorrow. Sans one particular light-skinned member who shall remain nameless. Because he's gonna be making cookies and shit.
Fuck all that, nigga. Fuck out of here. You ain't got
Yeah, 10 o'clock. You know, who knows? Maybe Nika might join us. If
Yeah, after the live with Christina, if you guys should start right after we get off. So
Nah, you can't. Nah, you'll want something better to do. Cause see, these
I
niggas
love
gonna have
football.
jokes.
She loves football, bro. She's normal.
I love football. Come on. Hello. And I love basketball. So I have my Knicks jersey on.
Oh, we don't want to talk about the Knicks. No. Oh boy.
I mean, Hewin was, the dude
Yes.
back in the day, but
Yes, I wanted to give him my knees because
I can't see
those
too
knees
much.
was just a detriment to our. I wouldn't say anything to switch knees with him.
But since I'm a Heat fan, I can't.
Well, how long you been?
Y'all are like mortal enemies. Forever, but I don't be fucking with no Heat.
Like with Alonzo Mourning,
Yeah,
Glenn
PJ
Rice.
Brown was, body slamming y'all niggas and tossing
Get the fuck
y'all.
out of here.
When Van Gundy is like hanging on niggas' legs and shit.
Let's be real. All the Knicks players was official. Y'all done never punked nobody on the Knicks. Let's be real. Let's be real. We had Anthony Mason. We had Charles Oakley. Like you not really want to go there with like official players
you
like that.
you name like one nigga who crazy, then you name like another old goon. So I mean,
all right.
I could start naming crazy niggas too, with like old niggas. Like I mean, we had Antoine Walker. We had Michael Beasley was like crazy too. So I mean,
whatever. I mean, we had Spreewell. I mean, come on.
That's also good.
That's all I need to
she can
say.
speak tales, choking niggas like us.
He choked coaches. So come on.
Damn, but this is a good collab, man. We glad you was able to come through, show love and
I had a great time.
drop bars, and I know these niggas gonna be glad to welcome you back tomorrow with the football shit.
And you're welcome anytime. You know what I'm saying? We fuck with you. So
I gotta talk
anytime
about
you want-
Antonio Brown, like how he had his dick swinging all over the pool and stuff like
Oh,
that.
we're gonna be recapping. Everything so far within the first 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Going through our teams
especially
and
the
what.
tour shit.
Yeah, see, like she made for the squad, like this on some like April O'Neil and the Ninja Turtle shit, nigga. Like y'all, like this.
But I know I
official.
was always down to tell him because I love purple and I was a Ninja Turtle. I was never the reporter.
Hey.
I wanted to be in the mix. I was not the reporter. Okay.
Hey, LB. I also said too that who knows, but maybe when we're ready to do another cartoon saga, she could be a voice.
Yeah, I could do voice. Even though I have I think I have a very squeaky voice, so I don't know how good it would sound like when I'm under pressure.
Nah, you have a New York voice. Because it was funny.
Your voice distinct.
I've never left any voice message. Like, you know how you can set your own voicemail. I always let the automated system do it because I sound crazy.
It's funny because I don't think I've told you this, Nika, but I remember one night I was doing overtime at work, and it was on a Friday, and you was doing a Friday cast, a live cast. But I was just listening in, and like one of my coworkers heard you talk, and was like, "Is that Cardi B?"
I was probably drunk.
No, he legitimately was like, "Is that Cardi B? Because that sounds like Cardi
From
B."
the Bronx, yeah.
I'm like, no, it's not Cardi B, but
It's the Bronx.
it's a Bronx thing.
Oh shit!
So, but yeah,
But see, at least y'all sound like y'all where y'all from. I gotta get the damn. You don't sound like you from Florida, nigga. You sound like you from somewhere else.
you sound like you from Jersey.
You sound like
Because
you
I
Jersey.
feel like, because I don't know if Fort Lauderdale has like a distinctive thing. I know Miami does. Miami, because I'm in Miami, and they have more of a distinctive. I can't really tell who's like from Fort Lauderdale.
Man, cause y'all just gonna be like, if a nigga sound like Trick Daddy and
Trick
Kodak
Daddy,
Black.
yeah, exactly.
That's how y'all niggas get y'all, yeah. And we just 30 minutes away, but niggas make it seem like it's a whole fucking
I guess because no, to be
island.
honest, I don't really know too many people from Fort Lauderdale, so I can't really make a
Cause niggas don't be
Really?
claiming shit. Cause Miami niggas come up here to work. and Broward
Well, I
niggas go up
just go to Fort
Boca.
Lauderdale if I get a cheaper flight to fly out of Fort Lauderdale. It's usually cheaper.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I'll make that 40-minute
Yeah,
drive.
no, you're definitely right, Nika. Because when I went to Miami 2 years ago to visit, I flew into Fort Lauderdale.
Fort
'cause it
Lauderdale
was,
is cheaper.
yeah, because it was way cheaper. And then I took the Uber from Fort Lauderdale to Miami. So, and it was still cheaper.
It was still cheaper than the flight.
Yes, it was still cheaper. So, but yeah, I think that wraps it up for tonight. So for myself, King P, Bodega P, for Pat Scorpio, the New England representative, for LB Shuttleworth, the God, the GOAT artist, for Conscious Pilot Talk, for Rome's Top 5 Chicago Zone, and for Knockouts with Nika Tyson. This has been another episode of Real Talk. If shit's real, we talk about it.
I like
So
that.
until next time, peace.
Take that.
Peace.